Well, again, I know there's a lot of good, a lot of bad, but let's focus on something that is wonderful. We are officially at a net negative for immigration in this country for the first time in a long time. And I understand we've got about another 50 million, I mean, who knows how many to get out. But right now the border is closed, the border is secured, and we're deporting people, and we are slowly getting our country back, and it's a good thing. Joining me now, Ammon Blair, Senior Fellow at the Texas Public Policy Foundation, which is a wonderful organization, by the way, if you're not familiar. Also, former Border Patrol, Army. Ammon, I'm happy, man.
Yeah, this is all good news. All the numbers are pointing in the right direction.
Ammon, can you explain how it happened so fast? How was it so fast to go from a border that's wide open to one that is sealed up tight?
Yeah, sure. It's really, at the end of the day, following the rule of law. That's all we had to do. The law of expelling those that are here illegally, or actually pushing back those that are trying to come into our country or make incursions between the ports of entry, and just simply not letting them in. Really, that's at the end of the day what really happened at our southern border. And so when you look at that and you look at that measurement of illegal or apprehensions at our southern border, that's a good one, as well as the fentanyl seizures at our southern border. But something that's kind of that maybe your public or your audience needs to understand is, unfortunately, those are really one of the only two metrics we're really looking at in terms of whether the border is secure or not. I know that you served in the Marine Corps for quite some time, and if you were in a contingency operation overseas, how would you measure whether that border that you were trying to defend is secure? Now, unfortunately for us, because DHS is the lead agency, we measure it by terms of apprehensions, turnbacks, and gotaways, and that's what's codified in law. And so it's immigration metrics. And then we also have drug seizure metrics like fentanyl. But by all measures, unfortunately, the border is still operationally controlled by the Mexican cartels. They just have decided to move some of their smuggling operations outside of the southern border area of operations.
Okay, Ammon, that is news to a lot of people. Please expand on that. If they're not crossing the border, where are they crossing?
Sure, great question. So, and I'm not talking specifically about illegal aliens, but a lot of the illegal aliens that are coming across now are those that don't want to get caught. So they're going to be in camouflage, just like what Breitbart puts out, or your friend Brandon Darby. He puts out all the pictures of the illegal aliens in camouflage or wearing carpet shoes, and they're bypassing Border Patrol agents and other law enforcement along the border. And how they're doing that is they're utilizing surveillance and reconnaissance assets through drones. The Rio Grande Valley sector where I served recently had over 40,000 drone incursions. There's so many drones in the air that sometimes we can't even have air support inside the air. And so when you have that ability to see the entire operational environment, you can dictate to the smuggling organizations on the ground exactly where to go, what area law enforcement is currently not present, and you can bypass us. You can go on Twitter today and actually see smuggling organizations posting their drone videos of guiding illegal aliens inside the country. So also narcotics. All you have to do is look at the price of cocaine right now. It's actually decreased. And the reason being is the amount of cocaine inside the United States is unprecedented. The cartels have just shifted, since we're only looking at fentanyl seizures, the cartels have completely shifted their commodity, and that is going to be meth and cocaine. Imagine, like back in the day, we used to talk about like the Caribbean. We would go after the Caribbean, where really the smuggling trade of cocaine was really prevalent in like Florida and along the coast. And then it shifted when we shifted our priorities to that area. It shifted to Mexico, and then so now, unfortunately, it's shifted back. And that's why you're seeing President Trump make those military attacks on Tren de Aragua and the gunboats or the drug boats in the Caribbean. And that is because the operations by the cartels, whether from Venezuela or Mexico, have shifted back in that region.
Ammon, can you tell me, because it never comes up, right? Everyone just looks south, but we have a very, very large border north. Is it a problem, or do we at least have that one fairly locked down?
Great question. In fact, I was just in Canada this week. I was speaking with the First Nations chief of police or of their peacekeepers. I was there with their Canadian law enforcement, as well as public officials, as well as their fentanyl and border czar. I'm unfortunately here to tell you and your audience that the cartels, like I said, they shift and they shifted to Canada, as well as the Chinese triad. And since we have not placed a lot of our resources to include manpower, technology on our northern border, as well as not really assisting the First Nations or the Native American tribal areas in terms of understanding what is coming across and who's coming across. It is completely open game for the Mexican cartels to traffic both north and south. And that is also illegal aliens. Look, before when the Mexican cartels in the first parts of the Biden administration, they were flying illegal aliens as well as cartel members from Mexico City to Quebec. And then they started creating their own version of a pipeline or a Silk Road, have you, from that area back into the United States. So as it stands right now, that is a major hub. In the provinces in Canada, that's why they came down and reached out to us at Texas Policy Foundation. And they're asking, look, under the Biden administration, Texas, they came out on top. They figured out a way to push the federal government and try to secure its communities. Please come and help our communities when our federal government is not willing to look at the Mexican cartels, look at the CCP and their proxies, the triads, and any other criminal organizations. Please come and help us. And so as it stands now, that's what we're doing. We were in Canada this week. We're going to be continually working with our Canadian partners up there, whether that's the Mounties, the military, law enforcement services, as well as the private industry, actually secure the northern border.
Ammon, final question here. Donald Trump has said over and over again, declared war on the cartels, eradicate the cartels. Do you get the impression we are going to start doing kinetic things inside Mexico?
Great question, man. Sometimes I really wish the infantry soldier in me, and I know the Marine in you, really wants to go out and just completely lay waste to the Mexican cartels. We really do. But really, just like what happened in the first Trump administration, President Trump, instead of designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations in 2019, he backed off and instead created the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, that trade agreement for free trade. And so he backed off going after the cartels and then instead went after Maduro and then the Venezuelan cartels, right? The Cartel of the Suns and then trafficking coming out of Venezuela. You can see that now. A lot of the hits that are taking place in the Caribbean, that's not Mexican cartels, though they are connected either to CJNG and Sinaloa. Those are connected to Venezuela. And so what we're seeing is more of a foreign diplomacy or diplomatic efforts against Mexico, whether that is decreasing the visas from their elected officials, whether that is the threat of tariffs. But at the end of the day, that's really not making a mark on the Mexican cartels. They're in 65 countries. Like I said, they're shifting their operations to Canada. The country of Poland just had to wipe out a massive meth lab cell right on the border of Poland and Germany. So the cartels are just shifting, still operating their command or headquarters inside of Mexico. So yes, we definitely do need kinetic action against the cartels, as well as all the other asymmetric warfare ways and means to go after them, whether that's foreign diplomacy or any other means. But do I see that? Unfortunately, no, because of that trade. We are dependent on Mexico for a lot of things, but especially food. Right now, Jesse, we can't even feed ourselves. If we were to cut off all of our foreign trade agreements and all of our imports, we could not even feed ourselves. We are dependent on the Mexican cartels, since they control agriculture in Mexico, to feed us. And so until that dependency comes away from Mexico and the cartels, it is going to be very difficult to come to the table in terms of, hey, we need you to link security and trade together. We need you to take care of the cartels, when they're like, well, you can't even feed yourselves.
Ammon, we'll talk again very soon, my friend. Thank you. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.